I knew making my first sword would be hard, but I didn't expect this. This all started with a simple question. Can I make a sword with no experience making knives or swords, no fancy tools and hardly any money? I really didn't know how or what sword to make, which led me to my greatest weakness. Reading.
If you have ever thought you might be interested in learning to make something like this, and you can learn it,
but something magical happened. I saw something. From the moment I laid my eyes upon it, I knew it was meant to be the Norman Type XA. I knew what I needed to make. The only question now was how.
It is King Arthur, and we have been charged by God with a sacred quest.
I am at the scrapyard, forced to look for steel because the prices of steel are insane. So I phoned these people with a list of steels in mind, and one of the steels they have, they want to charge me $300 for. And I ain't got $300, so we forced to go here. It's so expensive because you can't just make a sword out of any old steel if you want it to be functional. And we got a few options. It's not hopeless. There are some scraps that are adequate sword material, but the leaf spring is the ideal choice. I want to save money. That's why I put myself in these situations. And they had the thing I was looking for, but just for the wrong price. At this point, it didn't look like I was gonna have a sword anytime soon. But I decided to try my local scrapyard. And lo and behold, I found something. That's gonna work perfectly. Yeah, I'm just gonna see if I can get it for a good price.
We're back in business, boy.
This piece needs to come into the middle, and do I A, bash it over here like a gorilla till it comes into the middle, B, cut this piece off and remake the tang, or C, mess up A and then do B? No, the answer's D, big brain me! There is something I'm not telling you. This spring is made out of 5160, which is great sword material, best stuff, but when it comes from a leaf spring, it has some problems. Stress cracks. And I thought this wouldn't be an issue because you can't believe everything you read on the internet. But it turns out this time it's true. And unfortunately, it's not the only time it happened. When I dug into this, I expected the worst. But the crack wasn't that deep and I removed it pretty easily this time.
This is the round table, council place of my knights. On the wall yonder is my sword Excalibur, given to me in
That hollow piece in the middle of the sword is called the filler. Because I don't have the right tools for the job, this is going to be very difficult. The one tool I have that can grind the filler is extremely slow. But worry not, I have a solution. I call it borrow. Brilliantly obtain, rebrand and reuse original work. So I was watching this guy make a sword and he's got this die that pretty much makes the filler. I was thinking to myself, I can make the backyard version of that. And here we are. This is going to get the basic shape of the thing and all we're going to have to do is go back and do some cleanup. I can live with that. I'm happy with that. In my mind, this is gonna turn out a little bit poopy, but that's not bad.
Great deeds can sometimes make amends for great blunders. Even such a blunder as this, sir? Even such a one.
If you'd only knew how I battled making this sword. I'd draw out the bevel, but the edge would come out lopsided. I'd flip the steel and hammer from the other side, only to watch the problem move with me. On top of that, the sword started to twist and bow. It became overwhelming. Every fix made a new problem. Every time I strike, the steel seemed to make things worse. I hit a low point. I seriously thought about quitting forging and grinding it straight. Before I made that call, I took a step back and looked at the sword differently. I imagined, what if this sword could speak? What would it say? Just a little tap here. Change the angle slightly. Don't worry about that, we'll fix that later. This changed everything. Instead of smashing like a gorilla hoping for something to work, I started responding, adjusting, and listening. It stopped feeling like I was fighting the steel and started feeling like I was working with it. Like I was helping it become what it was meant to be. Like I was shaping the sword, and the sword was shaping me. And like most adventures, shortly after something good happens, something bad happens. What I have noticed though, that happens when you move the material too much. Like it happened over here because we moved that material a lot. And it happened over here because this is the part that was curled up when we bent it back. You can tell the crack's not deep and I'm not worried about grinding it out, but am I setting myself up for failure if I continue this? Because I pretty much know where the problem's coming from, I don't think so. Not really what I want to see, but that crack is a lot deeper. But it's not hopeless yet. Let's give it a go and see what happens. If you made this far in the video, I just want to say thank you. I am going to make this sword by Arthur or by Martha. Even if this sword breaks, I'll start over. And if you'd like to see how the story ends, please consider subscribing. It'll help me in the channel. I know my uploads are few and far in between, but it's for a good reason. I try and put my soul into these videos. And hey, thanks for being part of this.